The challenges that we have with young people, in a city like Mumbai, which is seen as a financial city, we almost have 2 to 3 worlds living. So you have the disparity of rich and poor very obviously in front of you, and the kind of housing what Lakshmi is talking about is even more complicated and more worse in India. Like we have almost like the scholarship that we give to families which have even less than $300 income. And it's almost like if we did not provide that financial scholarship, and though our government subsidizes higher education, they will not be able to study. So it's that kind of a selection process. The biggest challenge that girls have, young women have, is around mobility, because the families don't want them to be mobile and go out and even go to colleges to study. So there's a huge amount of resistance to mobility. There's also fear around, something might happen. There's experiences of street sexual harassment that is on an everyday basis that you have to experience. So how do you deal with that in your life? So that is just the aspect of mobility. It's also the financial implication of that mobility. So, whether you take transport and you have to pay for it. So how do you actually manage to do that when you have very little resources? The second area of big challenge that we feel is that the society does not see the kind of street sexual harassment happening, or the attitude of men towards women, as problematic. It's quite normalized, this kind of violence, also in our film industry, which is very, very popular. So there will be, like, we'll be fighting and talking about, changing men, but there'll be one film and many songs which actually talk about, expressing your love by following a girl and, not listening to her no. So the idea that consent is something so critical is, kind of made fun of and challenged, and that changes the way in which men behave and create tensions for girls. So that is a big challenge. The support infrastructure that's required for women to be out, like we spoke about, childcare facilities, we find that even, say, for example, toilets are a big concern in Mumbai, to have public toilets. So, a lot of time women will drink less water, because then if they're traveling, they don't want to use public toilet, because many places it doesn't exist, or it's not adequately clean and safe. So that's a kind of infrastructure challenge. The other infrastructure challenge that we feel is that so we have the railways and the bus transport, but they are overcrowded and they are totally so there is very difficult for you not to be touched and not to be hassled in that kind of thing. So you have to learn to deal with it. So many such aspect of mobility and reaching to any place is a challenge. Financial constraint is a very big challenge for poor families to be able to manage to survive in a city like Mumbai, and then to support both your children for higher education. So those are the kinds of, we also, not so much in Bombay, but in many parts of the country, child marriage is a very big issue. So girls get married very early, and that's why they cannot continue their education. So our effort is to see how can education continue and how can they delay their age of marriage and then age of pregnancy that would come with it. Our girls also face violence at home. Domestic violence is an experience. So these are all the challenges from which the girls are coming and trying to build their life. And we are there in a way to support that and to bring that challenge not only in their own life, but also in the lives of others around them. We try and engage mothers more, because a lot of time, both parents are not able to participate. So we do a lot of engagement with mothers or any one significant adult from the girl's family, and how can they become like a support system for her. What kind of support they can provide to her. We also try and create an intergenerational dialogue, because we are seeing that this new generation's engagement with those dialogue is reducing because of over exposure to social media, and everybody is more in that space, that you're not having those kinds of dialogues. So we create, we have a whole format of fairs that we do, in which we play different games. And so we've created a game for mother and daughters to play, many games, and you do a whole big fair in which you are breaking the tension that sometimes gets created between parents and children. And then also, how can she be supported in what her dreams are. So it's helping her dream, but it's also helping the family accept her dream and help her go through it, and seeing that their growth is also connected to her dream, that it's not counter. So how do we create that atmosphere? Because then only a girl can really move forward.
Thanks, Nandita.